The NFL mock draft godfather, Mel Kiper, released his final 2-round mock draft for the 2025 NFL draft. And can we just kind of shame Kiper a little bit? Because it's Tuesday, April 8th, and he is throwing in the towel on the draft more than 2 weeks before it. But let's review his 2-round mock and check out both picks he made for Cleveland. Now, coming in at number 1, no surprise, it is Cam Ward to the Titans. We know this is going to happen. At number 2, it's the name that has been rising up the ranks the last couple of days, not even weeks, just days. The do-it-all man from Colorado, Travis Hunter. So let's pause here for a moment and talk about Hunter and this pick for the Browns, because it is a very popular and trendy name at the moment for Cleveland at number 2. The entire Browns contingent went to the Colorado Pro Day. They got dinner with Hunter and Shedeur Sanders. Jeff Howe from The Athletic said a lot of people believe the Browns are going to select Hunter at number 2. He went from being a bit of a Vegas long shot just 2 weeks ago to a heavy favorite now to be the selection at number 2. So we're going to talk about him as a player a little bit, some stats, and then I'll give you my thoughts on him. We'll start with Hunter as the receiver, because that's what Andrew Berry said they view him as when speaking at the Combine. 1,200 yards and 15 touchdowns last year. I never like to make conclusions of players based off production, because college production is so just finicky sometimes. If you're a bad quarterback, you don't get a lot of touchdowns. Does not mean you are a bad receiver. But if you get 1,200 yards and 15 touchdowns, you're doing something right. And that's clearly evident with Hunter. But of course, we know the Heisman winner is very productive on defense as well. I personally view him as a corner first, but Barry said receiver first. That might change once he gets to the league. I'm sure Jim Schwartz is going to work very hard to get him on the defensive side of the ball. It's a player with 7 interceptions the last 2 years for the Buffaloes. Yeah, I think that's something that Schwartz is going to want a piece of. So that's a little bit of a background on Hunter. Once again, and I don't want to beat a dead horse here, but I just want to make my stance very clear and transparent. I am in on a Travis Hunter selection with the right plan. If the plan is to take him and play him full-time at receiver and nothing more, I don't think that's a very good use of the number 2 pick, because while I do think Travis Hunter is obviously a very accomplished and talented football player, I don't know if Hunter just as a receiver is worth pick number 2 over some other players available. But if the Browns have a plan of, hey, we're going to play him full-time at receiver, and then we're going to have him play corner on 3rd down, and we're going to have him be involved in special teams, and he's going to be what we thought what the Browns wanted Jabril Peppers to be times 10. All right, you got me, right? You sold me. I'm in on that plan. It doesn't take a lot of convincing for me, but it does require some level of, here's our rough idea. And as the years go on and he gets, more accustomed to the NFL and he learns the Browns playbook, and hopefully there's a lot of continuity there and there's not a whole bunch of turnover and it's just Stefanski and Schwartz's playbook year after year, and he doesn't have to start over with a brand new coach in the next year or so, then there's no reason why he can't start to play more sides of the ball, because physically he's clearly capable of doing so. He played over 1,200 snaps total last year between offense and defense. So I believe in Hunter that it can be done from a physical standpoint. From a mental standpoint, it is a lot to take on an offense and defensive playbook as a rookie. I mean, these playbooks in the league are twice the size as a college playbook. So I don't want to be like a doubter and hater, but I guess I am. That, yeah, I don't believe a rookie can walk in and by mid-August go, yep, I know everything about the offense and defense. There are guys who are in the league for 2 or 3 years still trying to learn their half of the football. And now he's got to learn both halves in his rookie season. That seems like a lot, which that doesn't have to be the case for his rookie year. I would not be saying it's disappointment if he does not have a ton of influence on the defensive side or the offensive side if he plays predominantly on one side. But you'd hope that after a couple of years, he starts to have a bigger percentage of plays both on offense and defense. So I think Hunter as a football player is fantastic, and he was so fun to watch at Colorado last year. And at this stage, I don't know if anyone else kind of feels this way, but when we get really close to the draft and teams picking early start to have an idea of what they're going to do, I just start to always be a half glass full guy and talk myself into it. If it's a horrible pick in my opinion, I won't get there, but I'll start to at least move a little bit more towards the middle. And right now I'm just thinking, yeah, Travis Hunter was awesome at Colorado last year. So don't overthink it. This should be a fun pick. Now, in this mock draft, that also includes passing on Abdul Carter, who we'll look at in just a second here, but this is going to be something that we can look back at a few years and go, all right, you had the number 2 pick of the draft. Did you make the right selection? Because I think Carter's going to be an outstanding player as well. Now, if Travis Hunter is the pick for the Browns, let me know, like, gauging the pulse right now of everyone watching, what's the excitement level? You know what I mean? Like the video if you're on board with this pick right here. I just want to get a quick head count of who's in on 12 coming to Cleveland. So Carter goes next to the New York Giants at number 3. We're going to kind of run through the rest of the first round, and then we'll get to the Browns pick at number 33. The Patriots at number 4, super quick though, they went with Will Campbell to add to that offensive line. Then we've got Mason Graham, Ashton, Jeanty. The Jets taking an offensive lineman is not one to sleep on. They've struggled with finding continuity at that position, and Membou will hopefully be the answer to those, very long, never-ending prayers. The Panthers add a cornerstone on defense. Shedeur Sanders does go top 10. It's to New Orleans, or as our Saints guy here at Chat Sports, Trace Gerard, calls it, Shedorlands. Tyler Warren going to the Bears. Will Johnson off to San Francisco. Dallas adds a running back. The Dolphins add to their secondary. Michigan tight end Colston Loveland moves down to Indianapolis. The Falcons add to their pass rush. Cardinals go receiver in back-to-back years. Bengals finding I wouldn't say replacement, but maybe, because we never really got a resolution with the whole Jermaine Pratt thing. But if Trey Hendrickson's not a part of their future, they might decide to go for a more traditional defensive end instead. The Steelers decide to bypass a quarterback, which some people think they could do. Instead, maybe they're finding their next Cam Hayward. Donovan Jackson goes from Ohio State to Minnesota. The Texans get their new left tackle in Josh Connerly. Jackson Dart does not fall to Cleveland at 33. The Rams snag him at the end of round 1. And we've got Shamir Stewart, who is just one of the toughest prospects to nail down. I've seen him go as early as 8 or 9, and I've seen him go as late as 32 to the Eagles. So that's the first round of the mock draft right there. The Browns start day 2 off with the 33rd overall pick, which I think is an underrated asset. There's a huge difference between pick 32 and 33, and it's not just the 5th-year option. It's time. You've got 20 hours to figure out what you want to do with pick 33 when round 1 ends. You got 7 minutes when pick 31 ends for pick 32 to decide what they want to do. So I really love the Browns having that whole day of Friday to work the phones and see if they can get a really good offer from another team. All right, let's move on to round number 2 now. With pick 33, the Cleveland Browns select Tyler Shuck, the quarterback out of Louisville. Let's stop here for a second and talk about what's going on with the Browns in the second round, because Tyler Shuck is a name that's come up a ton, and I want to take a look at this. So he's 6'5", 219 pounds. He has played a lot of college football. Started off at Oregon. Then he went to Texas Tech, where he played 3 seasons in Lubbock. Every single season ended with a season-ending injury. Then he gets 1 full healthy season for Louisville, and that's where he made a name for himself. By the way, if you're like, wow, 2018, that's a long time ago. Yeah, it's actually so long ago, he was Justin Herbert's backup. Now, before we look at any stats, I do want to tell everyone about our sponsor today, but Tyler Shuck is one of the most polarizing quarterback prospects in this draft class. Mary Kay suggested the Browns trade into round 1 for him. I've seen him go as late as, I kid you not, round 7. So no one's got a good idea as to what to expect out of the I don't even know. I'll give you a better description of him in a moment. But first, I do want to give a big shout out to a brand new sponsor here at the Cleveland Browns Report, and that is Brunt. We all know that Northeast Ohio weather is not the most forgiving. Even in early April, there's still snow coming down. So if you want to have the correct footwear to make sure your feet are staying warm and more often than not dry, give Brunt a shot. Brunt's best-selling Marin work boots are not only built for the toughest job sites, they are completely waterproof. Whether it's rain, mud, or standing water, your feet stay dry. Brunt isn't just about work boots, though. They offer a full range of high-performance gear built for tough jobs. From heavy-duty work pants to weather-resistant jackets, Brunt designs durable, reliable workwear to keep you protected and productive in any condition. Now, it should come as no surprise that me, Matthew Peterson, the Browns YouTuber, is not often out in the field and in tough conditions. But I was at the shoe in December for Tennessee, Ohio State, and my little piggies were freezing. But with Brunt, that would not have been the case. So if you just like going to Ohio State games, Browns games, late in the season when things are cold, these are an awesome piece of footwear to have to make sure your feet stay warm and stay dry. So check them out. I put all the information for Brunt down in the comment section. But Brunt didn't just make a durable work boot. They reinvented comfort for the hardest workers out there. For a limited time, our listeners get $10 off at Brunt by using code CHAT at checkout. Just head to bruntworkwear.com and use code CHAT and you're all set. Even better, Brunt lets you try all their products on the job risk-free. After you purchase, they will ask you where you heard about them, and I do ask that you support our show and tell them the Cleveland Browns Report sent you. So all this information for you guys in the comments and description of today's video. Now let's get back to Tyler Shough. And by the way, I am pronouncing it correctly. You might not think that just looking at the way he spells his last name, but it is the way you pronounce it. So there are some pros and cons to him. One con is he's going to be 26 when week 1 starts. So a Brandon Weeden light, a little PTSD for some people here. And another con is he suffered a ton of injuries in college. But if you're able to look past the age and look past the injuries, there is a lot to like about him. I mean, for starters, he's got a highlight reel that I think can go toe-to-toe with any other quarterback in this class. The issue is his low light reel is it's kind of like an American home video, funniest American home videos type of content. There are things he does where you don't understand how the laws of physics allowed that to happen. So there's a lot of bad, but you take the good with the bad, and there is some potential here that could be tapped into. For me, a 25, near 26-year-old project quarterback, which a 26-year-old quarterback should not be a project quarterback, but I think he would be because he just missed so much time in college due to injuries, which is also another con, like I mentioned, injury prone, that I'm not interested at pick 33. You want to discuss it in round 6? Sure. But I feel like this is peak pre-draft quarterback tax, where quarterbacks always go a little bit earlier than maybe they should compared to where they rank amongst their peers because of how important that position is. But I don't think anyone looks at Tyler Shough and thinks that guy is borderline round 1. Will Levis was the 33rd overall pick a few years ago. I think Will Levis had, I wouldn't say a similar profile coming out, but in a way of like high highs with the arm strength, but low lows with what the hell was that moment. I think Tyler Shough's highs are lower and his lows are lower. I don't see the rationale behind Shough at 33. So, no thank you. I pass on that one for the Browns. Let's check out the rest of round number 2. See who the Browns passed on that I would have, intervened and go, let's go with that guy instead. So the Raiders at a linebacker, Luther Burden, if you want like a draft bet, I don't think he goes round 1. I like Walter Nolan a lot, but I don't think Cleveland's going to go defensive tackle in round 2 for a second straight year. Travion Henderson lands in Chicago. I wish more mock drafts had the Browns going running back early. Their running game has sucked since week 2 of 2023. They need to add a real running back. And this is the year to do it. It's a loaded class. I'd love for them to take Caleb Johnson or Henderson in round 2. Moving on a little bit here. I don't expect Cleveland to make this move, but Benjamin Morrison, he went to Notre Dame. He missed a lot of last year with a hip injury, but 2023 tape, round 1 lock. So I don't think this is out of the realm of possibility, knowing Barry likes a good best player available. You just got to have some patience because I think he might require a little bit more time for that hip to get right, which you have 3 starting corners right now. Martin Emerson's going to be a free agent after this year, as is Greg Newsome. Wouldn't be the worst idea in the world to take Morrison, let him kind of sit and get healthy for 2025, during 2025, and then have him start 2026. JT Tuimoloau, he goes to the Bengals, so Cincinnati does find maybe a Trey Hendrickson replacement there. Another Ohio State player off the board, Quinshawn Judkins to Denver at 51. I like Jaden Higgins a lot. If you just want to sound smart and people ask you for a sleeper, say his name. Moving on here as we get closer to the end of round 2. Another Ohio State player going in the first 2 days with Tyleik Williams to the Bills. Isaiah Bond, bust. I'm just going to say it. And listen, if you're negative against a player in the pre-draft process, you're an absolute asshole, and I don't disagree with that because you're going up against guys who are obviously, way better than you at football, so what do I know in some ways? But at the same time, not every player is going to be this Hall of Famer that some analysts like to make prospects out to be. I like Darian Porter a lot as an intriguing prospect. He's 6'3", and he holds a lot of Iowa State track records. So if you're looking for an all-time athlete with length, he's your man. He was also in college football for 6 years, started off as a receiver, changed to corner. There's a lot of coaching that has to be done. But once again, the Browns have some work to do a little bit. Now, if you remember at the beginning of the round 2 mock, Jalon Milroe went right after the Browns to the Giants, I think it was, at pick 34. So there's been some buzz recently around Jalon Milroe. I'm not interested. This is pure 95% an eye test thing for me. As a Tennessee fan, I watched a lot of Alabama games, and I watched a lot of Jalon Milroe, and I don't think he is an NFL quarterback. He's got some great athleticism, and his legs allow him to skate the pocket and be a bit of a dual threat, but I don't buy this, he's the next Jalen Hurts. I think you're just saying that because both guys went to Alabama, and both guys are athletic and have a good, running tool to their game. Jalen Hurts was a much better passer at Bama and at Oklahoma. So that's a bad comp in my opinion. So here are 2 quarterbacks that went to start day 2. I think both are going to be bad selections for the teams that take them that early. And time will tell. There's nothing I can do to prove that right now. And time will take 2 or 3 years. But, yeah, I don't agree with either one of these selections for the Browns or the Giants. So let's kind of start to wrap up the video by asking you this question. Will a rookie start week 1? I think I'm going to make a video in a couple of days about the possibility of Kenny Pickett starting because there's some fear amongst the fan base that's a growing reality if they don't go with the quarterback in round 1. I feel that there are 2 more quarterback additions coming. I think there's going to be another addition made in the free agency market or trade market. I don't think Kenny Pickett's the only veteran quarterback, will put it, they want on the roster. Because Deshaun Watson's going to be rehabbing the Achilles, and I don't get the sense that he's going to be someone they want mentoring the replacements. So I think there's going to be 1 more veteran addition made, and my answer is no. So to conclude, let's recap what Kiper did. It's April 8th, and the guy's not going to do another mock draft. One of the best parts about the draft was Kiper drops his final mock on Wednesday, the day before round 1. Does he work 20 days? I think he 4 or 5 times a year he just hops on the PFF mock simulator. And by the way, if you read his descriptions these days, they give me ChatGPT vibes. He just tells you the stats and the measurements. I can look that up. I would like for you to give me some insight that I couldn't just Google. Tell me what you saw when watching them so I can broaden my knowledge on these players. I'm worked up. It's just annoying because I know it's kind of low-hanging fruit to go Kiper sucks at mocks. Kiper is the reason why the draft for you and me is what it is. He's a huge part of the draft being this marketable and fan-inclusive event because look at the NBA draft, look at the NHL draft. People don't even realize that MLB has a draft. There was no Kiper in those 3 drafts to make it such a fan investment event because we all want to make our own mock draft. And Kiper was the first to do it. So it kind of breaks my heart that on Tuesday, April 8th, 16 days before the draft, he's like, I'm out. For what? What are you going to do? More pumpkin pie until next January? Kiper, I hope you're watching. Moose, which card do you want to go with? Moose says 8 of diamonds. I'm going to go with the 7 of clubs. No, 10 of clubs. 10 of clubs. All right. I'll see everyone later.